What is up, everybody? It's Cjplays here, and I'm back with another Sims 3 speed build, and today I am building a Fairy Tale Cottage, and this build is a little bit special because it was a request from Frenchie, who is one of my subscribers, and I was streaming over on Twitch a while ago, so if you want to see me stream The Sims, go ahead and check me out on Twitch. But while I was streaming, Frenchie asked if I would be able or willing to build her a house for her Sims, and I was like, definitely. So this house is going to be a Fairy Tale Cottage, and it's basically a house for 3 fairies. I have to have 3 bedrooms in total, 2 for boys, 1 for a girl, and I had to make this house slightly modern but also give it a fairy theme. So that was kind of hard for me because when I think of fairies in The Sims 3, I think of the Supernatural expansion pack, and a lot of the items with that pack are very old looking. They're not really a whole lot of modern looking pieces with that pack, so I was trying to combine old and new, if that makes sense. So I'm building this house in Moonlight Falls, and I actually bulldozed one of the starter homes. I think it was the Craftsman home or something like that. I bulldozed it to kind of make this one. Looking back, I probably could have made this house a little bit bigger because Frenchie wanted me to also include a backyard, which there is a backyard for this house, but it's just not super big. You'll see it a little bit later on in the video, but yeah, so I probably could have built this on a bigger lot. At first, I thought I had to have a budget, but I asked Frenchie, and she was like, no, you don't need a budget. So yeah, this house is a little expensive. I think it's 50 something thousand simoleons or something like that. So not the cheapest house, but you could definitely make it cheaper if you wanted to. I also used a bunch of pack shell. I am sorry. I tried to only stick with a couple. So there's a lot of supernatural objects in this house. There's also some store content here and there, but I tried to limit myself a little bit. I think those windows come with the university pack. So like I said, you will need a lot of packs, but mainly I would say supernatural because that's where the most of stuff, the bulk of the stuff comes from, if that makes sense. So right now this is just me trying to figure out the floor, not the floor plan, the furnishing for the outside of the house. So usually I do furnishing last, but I don't know why, but I've been more into doing furnishings as soon as I start building. So for this one, I was trying to use some stuff I've never really used before. Y'all know that I always use those low-lying shrubs. They're my favorite in the game. But I wanted to use some of these bushes because they have the little yellowy or a white kind of flower to it. And I was like, I could use these with some of these base game shrubs. And you'll see I delete them. I move them around a lot. I had to stop my recording to try to get them how I want it. It was a whole entire thing. But I finally picked that. It's just shrubs. And hopefully y'all like it. Now this right here is just me trying to add stairs and stuff to the platform because I don't know, for whatever reason I always thought that your Sims could step up on a platform, but apparently they can't. They need a stair on it, so I had to put stairs from the base game. And this is, and right here is me trying to put a fence around the house, so you'll see me finish it a little bit later, but this is just me now moving on to the house. So on the inside of this house, I actually recorded myself doing the floor plan, which I didn't think I was gonna like this one. I was trying to fit 3 bedrooms, have room for a kitchen space and a bathroom. It was a lot, y'all. So, sorry Frenchie, I know this house could have been a lot bigger, but I like how this turned out. I was able to give you everything you wanted. So hopefully you like it. But moving on, this is just the little foyer area. So this is gonna be kind of the living room basically, or a little den space. Now this house does not have a TV, which is my fault. There's room for a TV. I just didn't want to put one in this house. Yes, it's modern, but I was also thinking about old-timey fairy tale type stuff. So they didn't really have TVs and stuff back then. So I was trying to kind of stick with that when I was starting out. So I didn't really put a TV, but you could definitely put one if you want to though. So I used a bunch of the objects that came with the Supernatural expansion pack. So I used those chairs. They're the chairs that have the wood, the wood behind it, that one. I don't really ever use this one at all. And I kind of forgot it existed, so I was like, why don't we use that? I was really upset, though, because it didn't come with a matching chair. I don't know if that, recliner is supposed to be the matching one to it or not, but, yeah, so I ended up using that one instead, and of course, I recolored everything. You'll see, that everything in this house kind of changes a lot. For example, that wood flooring doesn't even stay in this room. I ended up replacing it with one from the Pets pack. I also put some curtains up in here, too. I don't know about y'all, but I kind of feel like it's kind of hard to use curtains in The Sims sometimes, because while they may look nice, a lot of the times they'll make the room darker, and sometimes I'm like, well, do I want curtains? Do I not want curtains? Do I want to just put some just because they look nice and maybe the room won't be as bright? So it's sometimes kind of hard to find that medium in it, but I decided to put curtains in here. And then this is just me now, y'all, struggling around with this podium. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, there's only a certain number of objects that you can slot to it. For example, that bust of that head, you can put that one up there, but like the other ones you can't put up there for some reason. So I ended up deleting it later on, and I ended up replacing it with the slightly smaller one, and I want to say I put a plant or something on it. I can't remember, but I put something on it though. This is just me now after I changed the floor. I also put a nice coffee table. So like I said, you do have space for a TV if you want to put one in here, but I just decided to not do a TV, there is a hobby room in this house, so you could definitely like raise up your fun skill and stuff like that, and there's stuff to do, so it's just not like, it's just a house. But this is just me now putting up a nice end table beside that recliner, and I'm also just cluttering up the space a little bit. I was just trying to find like a lot of good stuff from Supernatural. I did like the color scheme in here. It's like a blue and white kind of color, and I thought it looked really nice, so I thought that was kind of cool. And also that shelf that I used, I ended up like moving it over a couple of tiles. It's kind of hard to find stuff that'll slot to it. I know you can slot like a base game plant, but I was thinking that maybe I could slot some of the potion bottles that comes with Supernatural, but none of them slotted to it, so yeah. And this was just me now trying to figure out like what did I wanted to put on that wall, but I think I just left it blank, I want to say. Moving on, this is the kitchen. So I forgot the name of the set. It's like the Edwardian something set. The kitchen set. I ended up using this one because I don't really ever use it, and I thought it looked kind of nice and fancy in here. And again, I was trying to go for that modern, but also trying to like embrace the fairy tale vibe. So I don't know. To me, that looks kind of whimsical in a way. I don't know. Maybe not. Y'all let me know. But yeah, this is just me putting up the cabinets and stuff. Now, there is no upper cabinets for this set, which I don't understand why. So I tried to use those ones from the base game, and I tried to recolor them, but they didn't really look that nice. So I ended up replacing them with just some basic ones from the base game. This is just me now putting tile on the kitchen floor just to kind of make the kitchen look a little bit more interesting. I ended up using tile that came with the Ambitions pack, I believe, and I thought it looked just really nice in here. I was gonna use the floor from the like entrance area, but I didn't really like it, so I went back with the original wood floor in here. I thought it looked a little bit better, and then for the kitchen, I think I just ended up putting a microwave, like the one that comes with the set. I ended up putting like island countertops instead of a kitchen table because this kitchen is not that big, y'all. So I was like, island countertops might make a little bit more sense, versus just having like, just a big kitchen table in the middle. And I also put the little magic jelly bean plant bush in the corner. Be careful with that object, y'all, because I've had a sim die from it. Like, there's a small chance you can die, but I had a family one time, and as soon as the kid went to go eat it, they died. So it'd be like that. But moving on, this is just the bathroom. So I wanted to use a lot of the objects that came with Supernatural. Like I said, y'all, you're gonna most definitely need Supernatural if you have nothing else. So I noticed that I had a little bit of extra space in here, so I ended up drawing a wall in the corner of the bathroom just to kind of fill the space in a little bit. I also put a nice rug down, and I just recolored it. And for the longest time too, y'all, I forgot to put a mirror in the bathroom, and I didn't realize it until I was going to take screenshots, and I was like, why does that wall look so empty? It's because I forgot the mirror. So I ended up going back off camera to put a mirror down. I used one of the ones from the base game, and then I ended up using this light right here for the bathroom. And moving on, this is going to be like the hobby room. I wanted this one to be a living room, honestly, but then I forgot that I needed to include a hobby room, so I was like, okay, we need to get creative. So I ended up putting an art easel in here originally, but I moved the art easel to one of the bedrooms. I also put a chess table because that's like a really good skill building item, especially for like a lot of the base game careers and stuff like that. So I ended up putting that one in here. The alchemy station, I almost deleted it, y'all, but I ended up keeping it because to me, I was like, well, I mostly associate like alchemy with like the witches in the game. Like any sim can do it, obviously, but I was in the game, I more so associate that with the witches. But then I was like, well, fairies could probably do it too. Like it's a good skill building item. It came with Supernatural. It fits right into the theme. So I was like, let's just include that again. So I ended up putting it back. I also put the lunar horoscope object in here because I don't know, maybe the fairies want to like know the phase of the moon or something. I don't know. And I was trying to just look for a lot of good skill building items to put in here. I also went back and I put a stereo. So there's a stereo, there's a chess table, there's an alchemy station, and I think that's pretty much it for this room. So, there are some hobbies. There's also an art easel in this house, so you can make art. You can practice that skill. You can raise logic skill. You can do alchemy. So there's like a couple of skills you can do. There's even a stove, so you can raise the cooking skill. So hopefully this is good enough, Frenchie. I hope you like the way this house turns out. So yeah, we have some skills. The house could have been a lot bigger, but I like how small it is. I used this picture off of Google for inspiration, And if I show you what the house looks like, y'all will be like, well, that doesn't really look like this, CJ, which makes sense. But because like it's kind of hard to build like real life stuff in The Sims anyway, because you know, the game is on a grid system, but real life isn't, so it's kind of hard to like replicate things, if that makes sense. So sometimes you have to take like creative liberties. So you know, you have that. But moving on, this is where the two brothers will be sleeping. So I don't really know anything about these Sims. Like Frenchie never told me, and I never really asked. So to me, I kind of just went into my own like little storyline with him. So for this fairy right here, he is very much into art and gardening. Oh yeah, I also put like a little a fairy planter in here too. I forgot about that. There's a fairy planter, not a fairy planter, a planter box in here, so your Sims can also garden in here. Like I said, he's very much into gardening and, you know, painting and stuff like that, so he's very creative. I also used that bed that came with the Supernatural pack. I don't think I've ever used this for anything, y'all. A lot of the stuff in The Sims, as you can see, is like very themed and, you know, kind of situational. Like, you know, like you wouldn't really use this bed in every single house, but I wanted to use it in here. And I was gonna make the rug tree bark, but then I was like, nah, CJ, we can't do that. Like, so I made it, you know, have like the tree design on it. I also ended up putting another window in this bedroom as well, just to kind of bring in some more light. And then I also put like a little clock on the dresser just to kind of have some more clutter in here. But moving on, this is the other brother. So for me, I'm like, maybe he's a little bit more edgier. Maybe he's like into dark magic or something. I don't really know, you know, but I kind of wanted this room to be a little bit more darker. I was very inspired by that bed that came with Supernatural, so I was like, why don't we just kind of make, you know, base everything around that. So this room is more like cool blue. There's also, you know, like a dresser with like a painting above it. I think it's one of the paintings that comes from the store. I think it's like a free painting, I want to say. I ended up using that one over the dresser, and I also put a nice lamp that has like a red color to it, just to kind of make it, you know, blend in a little bit more. And I also used this grandfather clock that comes with Supernatural. I don't really ever use that object all too often, and I thought maybe like this sim is a little bit more like classical, traditional type stuff, so I ended up putting like a big grandfather clock in here. And then I also ended up putting some curtains, and I had to use that creepy like head statue, y'all. Like I had to, so I used that one in here as well. And it took me a while to kind of figure out what kind of light fixtures I wanted in this house, because I know I wanted to use the ones from Supernatural, obviously, but yeah, it wasn't really working out, so I had to use like a chandelier from the base game. And then last but not least, this is where the female sim will sleep. So I don't really know, I kind of just had like woodland vibes for her, so I used this. I think this bed is like from one of the store content sets, so I ended up using this bed. It kind of has like a similar vibe to the other bed from Supernatural, but this one is a little bit different though. It has like the branches and stuff around it, so I ended up using this bed, which I don't think I've ever used it for anything, y'all. I also used like that little wood sculpture right there. I used the magical mirror. And I also ended up putting like a base game dresser in the corner of the room, just so your Sims could have a dresser. I wanted to use that really big, you know, wardrobe, but it was a little bit too big, so couldn't use it in here, unfortunately. I also ended up using one of the end tables that comes with Supernatural. It's like the tree stump one, or I guess it's like a tree stump. I don't know. It's like a tree or something. I ended up using that one, and I also put a nice butterfly rug down here at the bottom, and that's pretty much it. I did play test this house just to make sure your Sims could actually use it, and they can use this room. I had to like turn off move objects as well, because I wanted to make sure your Sims could use that mirror and get into the bed. So I play tested everything. I'm gonna still do a little bit more play testing just to make sure, but you know, by the time y'all see this house, if anything has changed, you'll pretty much know it's because I had to, because of gameplay reasons and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it though for the inside of the house. And then moving back onto the outside, I wanted to like give Frenchie like a little bit of a backyard. Like, again, this lot isn't that big though, so I apologize again, but I wanted to have like some nice places to sit, so I ended up putting like a picnic table back here, a little bench, and then I also used a grill. I think I used the one from the base game, I want to say, or yeah, I think that's the base game one. So I ended up putting a grill back here as well. This lot also does have a fairy house, so I put that in the front yard, so maybe your fairy Sims can go in there and like, you know, party or something. But that's pretty much it though for this build, y'all. Hopefully you like it. If you would like to download this, I will definitely leave this one linked down below. If y'all have any like build suggestions, feel free to let me know, or join my Discord server and just like suggest it there, because this was a lot of fun, and it was kind of fun to kind of combine like fairy tale with modern. So hopefully you like it, Frenchie. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Thanks for watching.